Hi guys, you're probably going to hear a weird microphone sound. Sorry, I totally forgot to turn the stupid thing on and connect it to myself. Ta-da! I think it's on. I think it's connected. I think it's on. I think it's connected. We'll only know in just a minute. Hi everybody, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. It is Sunday. Sew Sunday. And I'm going to sew.
On a
Today. The same thing I sewed last Sunday, but a little bit more of the pieces because, you know, I'm a little bit further, except I haven't sewn anything in here since last Sunday. Wow, I haven't sewn anything? That's so weird.
How much you been working on your lawn?
I've been, just before I say hi to everyone, because I came on early, I literally want to throw my long arm out the window. I have lots of client quilts, and I'm working on this client quilt, and I'm doing good, and all of a sudden, the tension goes wacky in the middle of a bobbin. Not just at the beginning of a brand new bobbin, you know, in the middle of a bobbin. So I put a new bobbin, I fix it up, blah, blah, blah. It's going good. Then it goes wacky again. What the heck is going on? So obviously I had to do a lot of, finagling and making things work with my client quilt. Finish that up, and I decide, well, I'm going to use a tester fabric and load it and just play until I get it correct. You know, I got it correct. I go to load my stuff because I keep telling Scott, well, I'll do something in mine so I don't ruin any client quilts, right? I load one of mine, instant bad tension. So I load another. I test it on the side. I get it good. I go back to it and the tension's messed up again. I don't know what's going on. Turns out it was the backing fabric of the one. Okay, so I take that backing fabric off and I'm deciding to put a different backing fabric on. Get a different backing fabric on. Go to do it. Guess what? Tension is bad on the bottom this time. Not on the top, on the bottom. I'm telling you, that machine was driving me mad. So I got it. I got another project loaded because I took that one off. I stitched on it too much, so I need to get the holes gone and so on and so forth. So I load another project. I get the tension halfway good. I stitched that project. It's doable. It'll work because once it's washed, you won't see anything bad. I mean, it'll completely disappear. But I'm telling you right now, that machine, I love my machine to death. It's great. It's an amazing machine when there's no issues with the tension.
No issue.
I don't know what. It's just all week, this week has been nothing but tension with that darn long arm. So I finally got it. Okay. But I have a feeling that it's just not happy with me. It says, you're doing too much, Tiffany, stop. That's probably what it's trying to tell me. But, you know, as with anything, you know, it's just a machine at the end of the day. And I'm not going to get a new one, so I have to make it work for me. But let me tell you, that's what's been my week. All right, let's see who's here. We got Brenda, Janet, Judy, Siberian Wind, Dawn, Shirley, Gloria, Louise, Melody, Debbie, Cheryl, Kay, Tracy, Jacqueline, Becky, Nancy, Lorraine, Mary, Andrea, Lois, Linda, JK, Elida, Mary, another Nancy, Lisa, Bambi, and so many more. You know, I'm going to say this out loud. You could tell I have acne on my face. That's how bad the tension problems are driving me nuts. It's giving me acne. At 43 years old, I'm still getting acne from stress.
You look good.
It's driving me nuts. But I'll get it good and back to my client work because I back myself up every time something weird like this happens. Anyways, where were we? So I was working last week. I started this Tonga treats. It was a free pattern in the Layercake. Can't find it anywhere online. So obviously it's not available to you guys unless you can find it. But like I said, on Etsy, they had the Tonga treats, which probably has the same pattern in it. Anyway, so I'm just following that. No, that's for Thursday. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks done, a 7th one here, and the rest to go. I didn't go any further. Now, there is one thing I did decide on during the week, and that is I do want sashing on this quilt. Not only will it make it bigger, but it will separate the fact that these are really busy. The fabrics are just really, really busy, and they need something to separate them. So I chose a batik that I had in my stash of the lighter color, because again, there's lighter colors in the center of all of these. So this will be my sashing, and then I will use the pieces that were left over from the cuts to be my cornerstones. So that will be when I get to that step, obviously, but I am going to do sashing and cornerstones because I need to break up this really busy look. Sometimes some fabrics to me are just too busy. So that's just, my own personal eye on things. All right, so I'm going to get my 1/4-inch seam allowance set up because I did actually sew this week. I made tags. That's what I did. So I had to use my machine, and that's why there's no, that's why the thingamabobber is not where it's supposed to be. There we go. Right there. Yep. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just start the same thing as last week and start sewing these blocks together, except this time I'm just going to lay them out in front of me. I just wanted to show you on the wall that this is how they go. But I'm going to just put them next to me and start sewing them. If I don't drop them on the floor, that is. Or throw them around or anything. Okay. And maybe I should tie my getting super long hair back. No, I brought it in here just in case. And I figure, well, I'm going to need it already, so. All right. Right sides together, slide them on through. I probably should just figure a way to chain piece the whole lot of these.
What do you use to tag your fabric so it shows how much you have?
What do I use to what?
Tag your fabric.
Oh, on my little papers, they're just little sticky notes that you can buy at the dollar store. And I put how much yardage is on there. I have to do that OCD wise, or else I'll be looking at the fabric, go, oh, it's so pretty. Open it up and I don't have enough. That means I got to go back to the shelves and look. So I like to put a mark on them of how much is on them. And I just use regular sticky notes from the Dollar Tree. Scott buys me like a 6 or 8 pack of them. And I just one color at a time. Instead of color coordinating purple with purple, because I don't have that in my room, but I just start using one at a time. Sometimes I use the long skinny ones, sometimes the big fat ones. But yeah, I always tag all my fabric as I bolt it up. That way I know how much is there. Even my, I have 1/4 yard cuts, 1/2 yard cuts, 2/3 yard cuts, 1/3 yard cuts, blah, blah, blah. All that is also in order of its size with marks on the shelf. Okay, come on. Which way was I pressing these?
I don't know.
I was pressing them in towards. Okay. All right. All right. That makes sense. Just want to make sure that I'm doing everything the same as I was last week, which I am. I think it'll look really nice when it's done with the sashing. Hopefully everybody's getting some sewing done this week. Next week, this end of this week, I should say, at the end of this week, on Friday, you guys, if you want, you can find me and my friends, Becca with Sew Becca and Ian with Off Kilter Crafter Ian will be over on Becca's channel on a Friday Night Live doing the Continuum quilt. And that's the 19th. And then on the 21st, which is Sunday, before my live stream, I will be on Ian's channel with Becca and Ian for the next, sewing some more on the Continuum quilt. with them. So if you guys don't want to miss out on all the action, you should come see on Friday night at Becca's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Sunday on Ian's channel at, hold on, I gotta think about this one. His is at 1 p.m. Central Time, I'm pretty sure. The links to the videos are in the community tab page. If you guys go over to my channel, the main page, go to the community tab, and you'll find all the information and the pattern, the continuum pattern, a link to that of what we'll be sewing. It should be a blast. All right, another block done. For now, I'm just gonna put them up. Oh, let's put this one right here. Nope, that's the same two fabrics, but it can just sit there for now. All right, I'm going to devise my master plan here and lay all the blocks on top of each other and chain piece the whole lot of them, because I like to do that. And I'm really good at it.
You are.
So I'm gonna stack everything up how it's supposed to go, and then I'm just gonna stack the next pile right on top of it, how I want them. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. We're just going to chain piece all of them because I think it will make this go a lot faster for me. Come on, lay there. Thank you. Fabric doesn't really listen, but we talk to it all the time.
Talk away. I'm sure they all do it too.
Yep. Oh yeah, here's one of those ones that's two different. So I'm gonna put this one there. Remember, because I had a issue with the cutting, so I had to improvise. So some of the blocks are gonna have different pieces in them, but that's okay. I think it'll still look good. Oh, this one's another one with those two different. We're going to put that one this way, this one that way, this one that way. I guess it'll give it a little bit of a breakup because that way not every single one of these looks so crazy. I definitely like to chain piece. Put the blue down, blue up, and orange on that side. Jerk. Light.
What do you use for travel machines?
I don't travel, so I don't have a travel machine. But if I was to say go on a retreat or something, I would use my Brother PQ9285 because it is little and it weighs less than, it weighs literally like 2 pounds. I could pick it up with one finger. It is the lightest machine ever. Or I would take my Juki HCL F600 because it has like a handle and a case that goes over it to keep it from getting bumped or dinged. Other than that, I actually don't travel, so I don't really need a machine to travel with. But if I did, that's what I would use. All right, one more on top of this, and then we're just going to chain piece all of this together, which that should be fun. Dark one there, dark there, yellow that way, blue in, blue out, and blue out. Here we go. So I'm just going to take the first two, sew them through. Second two. I'm going to go in sets of 3. And then the third. And then I'm going to go back to the top again and do 1, 2, 3 all over again. I'm also going to move those scissors because they like to just like vibrate all over the whole table. And it's because I sew too fast, you know, nothing stays still. And I literally, I don't want them. Okay, that's weird. Please don't tell me this machine's going to start having issues. That would not be good. Oh, it's because it's out of bobbin and the bobbin is stuck. It's tangled on itself.
You need me to untangle it? Oh boy, that really is tangled.
Sometimes the bobbins get stuck and tangle on themselves. It's not user error or anything or bobbin rolling error. It just happens. Just put it right there. There's the basket right there. It's the catch-all catcher. Aha! Okay, now I got to remember where I was though. That's 1, 2, 3. 1. Okay, I'm on 2. Sometimes I get easily distracted. And 3. Scott came in here earlier and he was like, when I was getting everything ready, he's like, wow, how do you know which side is the right side or the wrong side of a batik? And I said, good question. So there is no real right or wrong side. The right side sometimes is a lot brighter and more vibrant than the opposite side. But then there are those cases where both sides are equally as vibrant. So guess what? It doesn't matter. Put it in your quilt however you'd like. But yeah, I just figured I'd touch base on that because some people are not used to batiks and didn't know that there is no right or real right or wrong side. So it'd be nice to know in advance when working with them that you're not going crazy. There is really no right or wrong side. Kind of like a solid, except with lots of vibrant color.
Can you tell them how you clean your mat and ways to extend its usefulness?
How I clean my mat and ways to extend its usefulness. Well, I just started using this Purple Hobbies cleaning thing to clean it, but it just gets the stuff out of the cracks. If it gets deep into the cracks, I actually use a eraser on my mat, and then I put it on the back patio instead of in the tub because my tub doesn't need to be used. It's whatever. It's too big for it anyway. I go on the back patio and I hose it off and then scrub it with a scrubber and then let it dry and bring it back inside. Now I lost myself again. 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. Only a few times I've messed this up. 2 and 3. Back to the top again.
Huh?
Huh?
From cotton to polyester thread.
Do I need to what?
Adjust your tension when switching from cotton to polyester thread on that machine.
Nope, I do not need to change the tension at all on my Juki TL 2010Q. That's the great part about this machine. The only time I need to change anything is when using silk thread, which I'm going to tell you right now, this TL 2010Q, this one specifically, does not like silk thread, nor does it like monofilament thread. The, clear, see-through, you don't even know it's there thread. It doesn't like that either.
How often do you scrub your cutting mat?
I scrub my cutting mat when I cut batting. I don't scrub it outside, but I clean it off after cutting batting on it. Scrubbing wise, probably once every 6 months, maybe. In the summertime, it's the best because it can sit out in the sun and flatten back out if it got bent or curved or messed up in any way. And here, out in the sun, it's like 100 and something degrees. So it's definitely an assuring to get your cutting mat nice and flat. And look at that, already to the last 3 of the first 2 stacks. And one more. The only thing to do now, break thread and bring the whole thing to my lap like this. And go to piece 1, finger press, add the opposite side. Finger press, add the opposite side. See how easy that is? And you just do it in sets of 3. So fun. Gets it done. Start from the top again. And I don't technically have to press at this point, but I do just because I want to make sure that it's ready for the next stage, which is sewing the 3s together. Oops, this one goes in. 3rd. I don't know what it is about making quilts like this, but I find it relaxing. I feel like I get more done than when I just sit and do one block at a time. I don't know why. I probably don't get more done in one. But I never actually made the same quilt 2 different ways and timed it. I should do that. Make 2 quilts, but one chain piece the whole thing, and the other one piece it singly. I'm wondering if that saves time, or does it? Future video idea. The only thing about this little window to open it up to get to the bobbin area is that it kind of gets in the way of my finger pressing when I'm chain piecing. Because there's a hole right there and my piece gets stuck down in it. But batiks are easy to finger press, so that's a plus.
Color catchers pull the color out of them in the wash?
Some people tell me not to use color catchers on batiks. Some people say to use them. I've used them, and guess what? I don't have an issue with colors being pulled out using color catchers. So I don't know. I guess that would be a user, up to the user to decide how or what they want to do, you know? Because I've never had a problem with batiks using color catchers. So that's not to say someone else probably has had a problem with too much color coming out, but they're still as vibrant before and after from personal experience.
How do you handle fraying? I best press my fabric before cutting it. It's still fraying like crazy.
Well, I can tell you this because I am both a Walmart purchaser of fabric and a Joann's and Hobby Lobby and quilt shop. Some fabrics from some shops are a little bit cheaper than others, so they're going to fray more because they're not as tight of a weave and the thread count is lesser. It is less than that of something that is from a designer's company, blah, 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 and, you know, is super expensive at $12 a yard and so on and so forth. How do you handle it? Well, you deal with it because unfortunately you can't stop it unless you fray check every corner with the fray check pen. They sell a pen that you rub the stuff on every single corner of every single block of everything you're putting together. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to control that, unfortunately. Okay, which one am I on? I'm on this one. Yeah, I couldn't. There's probably another way, or other ways, plural, but unfortunately, some fabrics just fray a lot more than others. And the cheaper the fabric, the less thread count, the more it's going to fray. There are some high quality fabrics, though, that I have used that are way fray-like, that have made a mess of my quilt. So not everybody is free of it, but let's just say some companies' fabric frays more than others. I guess the less you handle the fabric, the less it'll fray. So if you just lay it all out and leave it there and then only pick it up to sew it, maybe that might help. But can't guarantee that it's not going to fray. Even these batiks have some fraying on them. And batiks are a way tighter weave than any other fabric. There are some cheaper batiks, though. All right, so the best way to do this is every 3, snippy, snippy. So 3, snip, 3, snip. Oops.
Is 50 weight good for most machines?
Yeah, 50 weight is good for most machines.
You want me to snip it since you're going to iron?
I'm not ironing at this stage. At this stage, I am pressing with my finger. Out, in. All right, so now I just need to hook all these sets together, and then all of my blocks will have been made. Look at that, so fast. I probably could chain piece the whole one side of everything, but I still have to finger press everything anyway, so technically this part is easier, just done on its own, singly. All right. I have to press all the blocks anyway before I do the sashing, so. And out. And right sides together. And so. And everything's hooked together, so I can't lose any of my pieces, which makes it so much easier. And only 2 seams to nest, which is even better. You know, just works out great. And another. Yeah, just looking at these colors all together, these are really busy. Now at this point, it really doesn't matter which way I press anything on the final press because I'm going to be putting sashing between the blocks. And it don't matter which way your seam is pressed if you have something between the blocks. And another. Oh, that's what it was, Tonga treats. Yep. All right. Sure, a lot of yellow. Seems like every block has yellow in it. I'm going to have to make sure that I lay these out really nicely and adjust where the color is going to land since there's so much of the yellow in all these blocks. Oh, here's the pattern. I already did an extensive Google search and did not find this pattern anywhere. So, I mean, I guess you can go on Timeless Treasures website and see if they have it there, but nothing came up for me. It's called Darling Donuts. Wow, so much yellow, so much yellow. It'll still be pretty when it's done. Tangled. Nope, not tangled. Almost was tangled. It's very rare that I follow other people's patterns, but lately I've been doing a lot of other people's patterns, which is kind of odd. So like on Thursday, because this Thursday is the third Thursday of the month, so we'll have breakfast at Tiffany's this Thursday. I'm following a pattern there. I forgot what I'm doing there, but it's somewhere in this room. I think it's over there. Pretty far on it. Got to assemble the top and add borders or something like that. So it's almost done. What? Yeah. One reason I love working with batiks is technically you don't really need to take anything to the iron until it's all done. It's actually really good for the lazy quilter, which is me. Because everything is so flat, as you can tell, just by finger pressing. All right, one more. And then we'll cut some sashing after we iron the blocks. I see what's happening there. Okay. And out. No, in. That's why. I pressed these ones the wrong way with my finger. It's easy to change, though. Again, it's a batik. Easy to press. All right, will you plug the iron in? Put it on the desk for me. Huh? No, I'll get it. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and literally press all the blocks real quick, just real quickly like. And then we're going to lay them back on the wall in a more pleasing orientation because there's so much yellow and I want to at least distribute it evenly. So I'm just literally going to throw all these back onto the desk. And we're going to just press them right here in front of your very eyes. And then relay them back out. And then you guys can throw your opinions in the chat when I do. Does this look okay? Okay.
Is there a video on your wall flag?
There is a video from July 3rd of 2022. Was it 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022 for the flag quilt. There's no written pattern. It's all verbal visual. Just remember that. All right. Down. So just type in the search bar July. This is why I date my videos. July 3rd, 2022. Put that in the chat, in the search bar, I mean, and it'll come right up. You don't even have to type Tiffany's Quilting Life because I think I've typed it July 3rd to get links for people in the past, and it just comes right up. I don't need, because it was Sunday before the 4th of July that I did it. It was on a Sew Sunday. So I only have 16 blocks here. So it's not going to be a very big quilt, but it'll be lap size, you know, to hang out on the couch size, kind of size. How many times can I say size in the same sentence? It'll be couch size, even with the sashing. And I can't do 2.5-inch sashing. I'm going to have to do 2-inch due to the fact that there is not 2.5-inch left on those cutoffs. Remember, we tried to see about using, so we only used the ones that had 2.5 inches left on them because of the whole one piece got, had a rip in it. But I'm only going to take one from every single one because I only need 9 cornerstones. Jim put a link in for the flag quilt. Thank you, Jim. He's on top of it.
Are the blocks 12.5 inches unfinished?
Yes, these are 12.5-inch blocks. Well, there's a seam that did not nest right there very well, but guess what? I'm leaving it. It's so busy, you're never gonna know. Only knowing because I said something, and I'm not telling you which block, because once it's on the wall again, you'll never know. So that's the only one I've noticed, though. I'm not always perfect, but I'm not going to rip it out because I don't care. Very seldom, I should say, that's the word instead of rare. It's seldom that it happens, but like if I make a show quilt and I have a seam that's off, I will rip that, but it doesn't really happen very often. And I actually have left not fully matched seams in a show quilt before, and I still want a ribbon. So I guess, you know, it's up to the judges to decide whether it's, you know, too bad when you notice it kind of thing. I don't know. Or they just weren't inspecting good enough and they didn't catch it. Or they're like, oh, that's Tiffany from that YouTube channel. She really don't care. We'll make her win anyway. She's a no-nonsense quilter. She just does. Hi, Di. Oh, no, not until it's, the video is out. All right. That part is done. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these on the wall. Scott, you can just put the iron over there for a moment because we're going to need it when we put sashing. But we're going to try to lay these out in a way that the yellow is evenly distributed. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if that's 4 because I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to put a yellow in each corner. I'm pretty sure. We're just guessing at the moment where these dark yellows are going to land. Where's the other? There's one more yellow that has it in the corners, isn't there? Oh, maybe it's just this part. So we'll put this yellow in this corner, down here. This yellow in this corner.
I want to add a cross stitch.
That matches that. That's the same as that. A cross stitch what?
Pattern to a quilt. Any suggestions on how to do it?
Cross stitch pattern to a quilt. Blank block is how you would do that. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to try to put the yellows around the perimeter. How's that? Would that look cool? We're going to see right now. I'm also separating them as if there were sashing between them because I'm going to put sashing between them.
Are you entering any quilts this year in the fair?
We don't, well, we do, but not in town. Actually, we'll put that one there. We have fairs around here, but it's far away and I'm not going to drive to it. 3, and then this is 4. All right there. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. Put this one here. Let's bring it down just a little because there's going to be sashing between. And this one over here. Nope, that's the same as that fabric. Don't want that there. This one here. Just lower this. Lower that. That way it looks like there's sashing between it. This dark one with the red. Well, look at that. I guess we'll put this one. Nope, that's the same fabric there. Let's put that one there. And if you're wondering, and I've said this a few times, the design wall is just cotton batting. Nope, that's the same as that one. I'm trying to equally put this stuff out here, but it doesn't seem to be working too well.
It looks good.
As long as it's like evenly distributed, because it seems like that yellow is so bright. That one there.
It looks good.
And this one here. And that one there.
Are the yellows crisscross?
Are they crisscrossing? I'm not standing back enough to see it. Scoot that over just a little. Right there. There we go. Yellow, yellow, yellow there, yellow, 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 yellow. I don't know. Not really. There's like 2 there, 2 up there. I don't know. It looks, I got to look back from it. I got to stand back at the camera to see. So look evenly distributed. I think so. That'll be good.
Sometimes placements can make you crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely does for me. So we're going to call it good. And we're going to grab the fabric for the sashing now. We're going to cut 2-inch strips off of here. I only have 1 yard of this, so I got to make do with what I got because I might also go into my fabric room and choose a final border because I'll go around the whole blocks and I only have 1 yard, so I'll go around it, not just in between with 2-inch pieces. Oh, is that a nice evil? That's an evil cut right there. That's an even cut. All right, 2-inch strips. So I'm just going to cut, they're 12.5 inch, and I'm going to get 3 per. So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24. I need 24 pieces. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4, 5, 6. That's 7, 8, and 9. 10, 11, 12. 13, 14,
Do you
15.
mix batiks with non-batiks in a quilt?
16, 17, 18. Yes, I mix batiks with non-batiks. Every time I do a quilt that has a batiks, I love to use black as my background color. Those are non-batik solids that I use. All right, so now I'm going to subcut these strips into 3 12-inch, 12.5 inch, sorry. I'm going to make sure before we cut, though, just because 12.5. 12.5. Okay, so we're going to do, we'll get 3 12.5-inch pieces per sashing strip. So I cut 8 strips, by the way, in case you were curious. I'm just going to stack them all up. And I know there are folds from it being folded up, so it's not laying super flat, but I don't care. So I'm not a pre-presser, pre-starcher, or pre-anything. I just kind of go with it. Unless the piece is like really folded in half or something, then I'll like prep it, but it's very rare that I prep fabric. I just go with it. And I've never had any problems. Like this one really has a good fold in it. So I will, since the iron is still on, I will just unfold that out. And yes, because it's a batik, I can stack all 8 layers up and cut them all at the same exact time.
Someone told her not to mix the batiks with regular fabric because the shrinkage is different.
Yeah, the shrink is just different, but you know what? It's a quilt at the end of the day, and it's going to cover you and make you warm. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cut the selvage off, even though it really doesn't matter on batiks because there really is no selvage. We're going to go to 12.5 inches. Line it up. Make the cut. And I'm going to do that a second time and a third time. 12.5. And one more time. 12.5. All right. And now that I got those done, now I'm going to cut a 2-inch off of each. I need 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I need 9 of these fabrics. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut a almost 2-inch piece off of 9 of these. That's too light. I will cut it to 2 inches. I think I'm going to use all these darker ones instead of having these yellows.
Do you ever square your blocks
4.
before assembling with sashes?
Hmm?
Do you ever square your blocks before assembling with sashes?
I don't need to square them because they landed perfectly straight. So I don't need to square them on this project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. I'm pulling the yellow out because it's just too much yellow. It's too bright for me. 7. 8. And one more. 9. Okay, now I'm going to actually cut those properly. So I'm going to turn these all into 2-inch squares. If I just stack my nicely cut sides, I could probably do them all at the same time. All stacked nicely. Now, let's use this side of the ruler because that side has that ding in it.
You ever make the same quilt more than once?
I have made the same quilt more than once, many times. Sometimes when you...
videos, like Weave It.
Yeah. Weave It is one that I have made multiple times. I even made it twice for that actual video. I've made a carpenter's wheel star a few times, more than twice. I've made that like 6 times. I've made countless Bargello quilts. They're not always the exact same, but it's still the same thing. I've made countless of churn dash quilts, just 4-patch block quilts. I mean, I've made the same thing over and over again, plenty of times. All right, I got my 2-inch squares. I got my sashing pieces. Now I'm just going to connect these in between the blocks. So I need 3 for the top row. And again, it doesn't matter if this is right or wrong side because again, this fabric is not very right or wrong sidey. So I'm going to hook one to here. And this should be exactly the right size. Oh, look at that, and it is. Yay. Grab the next one. Put it on there. Grab the third one. Oh, piece is right in front of my face and I'm looking for it. Smart one, Tiffany. Oh, sometimes I crack myself up. So now I'm going to snip these apart. That was the third. This is the second. And this is the first. So I'm just going to press towards the sashing. Honestly, I mean, it is a light color, but I don't care. So I'm just going to put the next one on top of it, just like this, lining everything up. And sewing it on. I'm going to finger press it towards the sashing. Grab this next piece. Oops, got to finger press towards the sashing. And then put the piece on, or else what was the point? And look at all this stuff is trying to come off of my table here, you know, because it just vibrates from me sewing fast. All right, finger press towards that sashing. I'm going to grab that last piece and attach it to it. And it really doesn't matter which way as long as it's up there. Ooh, come on, line up, thank you. All right. And while I'm sitting right here, I'm going to make that in-between sashing, the one that goes in between all of these. So I need 4 of these. 3, come on, and 4. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these, and 3, it doesn't matter which 3 of my little thingies. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're just going to sew this on here like this. I'm going to press it towards the sashing, towards the long piece. Put the next one on. Towards the sashing. Put the next one on. And last cornerstone. And then last strip piece. All right. So that long sashing that goes in between is now going to get placed on here. So I'm literally just going, it should be the right size because each individual sashing piece is 12.5 inches. Then the cornerstones are 2 inches, and then 12.5, and then 2, and so on and so forth. But I will hold at the seams to nest them just to make sure. But essentially, it should be the right size. So I'm going to hold this seam, make sure that it's nicely nested, and since I pressed them in opposite directions, it should lay nicely. I'm in the one seam, now I'm on to the other side of it. I go down to the next one and hold it. I'm also going to make sure that the bottom ones aren't flipping the opposite way, creating lots of bulk. Hold that next one. Then I'm going to line up the next one and just keep going until the whole thing is sewn on. And then come to my bottom, make sure the 2 pieces line up, and they do. I'm going to finger press right now, but then I'm going to take it over to the iron and press this whole row. That way at least one, yeah, move all that stuff. Oh, no, I'm going to do it on the ironing board because it's that wide. And then I'm going to make sure the whole row is flat, and then I'm going to repeat this same process with this row and this row, but the bottom one is only going to get in between. All right. I'm just going to quickly give this a nice press so that everything's super flat, even though it's finger pressed. No, my sashing is only 2 inches due to the fact that I only have 1 yard to work with here, and I still want to go all the way around with border number 1 because I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to my fabric room and get a second border fabric. All right, so there it is with sashing in between, nicely pressed. So now repeat. So I'm going to grab 3 of these. Okay. And then I'm going to sew 1, 2, 3, hook them together over and over again until it's done. This part goes pretty quick. Press towards the sashing. I don't even have to, I can just, right now, I could just go like this and grab that next one, add it on, then put the next end piece. I don't even have to do chain piecing of individual. I can just do just like this, finger press that, put the next sashing on. This went with it perfect, this light color. Kind of glad I chose to do a light. Takes away that busyness. Grab the next one. What? Yes, Sewing Machines Plus has payment options. No interest payments for your first year or something like that, or always or something. I know it's some catchy something or other. All right, then I'm gonna put this one on and then add that last final block. And then while we're sitting here, we'll make the next row between them. And then grab this last one, attach it on. It's exactly the right size. Everything lines up. Finger press it. All right, now I'm going to grab 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3 of these. And I'm going to hook these together now. And then we'll put it on and then press it. Oh, if the thread would stay threaded. I knocked it out when I was finger pressing right here. And I'm dropping everything on the floor as well. Go figure. Oh, look, I got, oop, no, I did not. I was gonna say I got it in the hole all by my lonesome without my needle threader today. And look, I did again, yay. Right now I'm just chain piecing them through. And I'm gonna finger press towards the sashing and attach them together. Come on, right there. Thank you. And last piece. Snip apart. And now I have one long piece. So I'm going to finger press towards the sashing. We're going to lay it on here, and it should be exactly the right size. And it is. All right. nest that first seam by holding it together as I sew. I just hold my finger at it as if my finger was the pin. Release my finger, grab that next one. Stop, adjust. Line up that end and it matches perfectly. Oops, but I dropped it out of my hand. Go figure. I'm going to finger press it, then take it over to the iron and make it super flat. Which it kind of already is, but just for super flatness sake. So just know that this whole entire quilt can be made without the pattern because it's super cinch. It's just really busy, that's all. Okay, so now this one will be attached to that when I'm ready. Just like that.
Ian said he's so excited he has a Juki now. He wants to be like you when he grows up.
I'm excited for you, Ian, with your new Juki. I'm telling you, you're going to get so, like, whatever with it that you're going to, like, that Bernina's never going to get touched again. Like, you're going to be just like, you know what, this is fast. I'm just plugging the Juki in today. You know, like, every single pattern you're going to get, I can chain piece that faster. This will get done faster. Because you're just going to use the Juki instead. You don't have to wait for it to cut the thread. It literally does it faster with your foot. You know, like, I know your foot's big. You were talking about it today on your live, but...
Does Juki have a small, good for travel machine?
Like I said, the Juki HZL F600, it's a little bit lighter. That's my other machine. That's a Juki. That I would, like in the beginning earlier when someone asked about travel, I would use that. If I was to go to a retreat, I probably would use that. Scott put a link in for it. I don't know how much it weighs, but it's definitely lighter than this one. This TL 2010Q is a little on the heavy side, especially like, you know, you'd think I can lift heavy, but over the years, my ability to lift things with my MS has become less and less. I can barely lift 10-pound weights. And this machine is like 40 pounds or something like that, or close to. So, and then, you know, taking all the stuff with it, and yeah. I mean, it does have an easy metal handle, so that's a plus. But I don't know if I would travel with it, because it is on the heavy side. I'm pretty sure you could probably even get a case made for it. It does come with a cover when you buy it, but I'm not 100% sure on a case, but you can get a custom one, probably. Because you can get a custom case made for any machine, honestly, I think. All right, as long as they know the dimensions, they can make it. Just like the table inserts, there's a company that makes the, like if you have it set into the table and you need the extension table to fill that space in, there's a company that makes those So Steady or something like that. Or so, yeah, something so, whatever. For your like koala cabinets and things like that. All right, put this on there. All right, so now I'm going to make the in-between sashing for in between, which is the last 3 of my thingies, and 4 of these. And the last 3 will be for that bottom row. And then I'm also going to cut 2-inch strips to go all the way around the whole entire thing. And then put those on. And then I think if I have time, we can go over to the fabric room and choose a border fabric. Scotty will have to hold the mattress out of the way, though, because it covers my fabric shelves. I'm pretty sure he can do that while we choose something on the live. All right, snip apart. Finger press. All right. Grab that next one. Put this on here. Pink. Pink black. All right, we're gonna.
What kind of thread do you use?
Huh? I am right now using Essential Thread by Connecting Threads. If you go to the link that Scotty will eventually put in the chat, it goes to Connecting Threads, and they sell Essential Thread. And I bought a 10-pack of thread for pretty cheap. And so far, my Juki has liked this stuff. So, and I've liked it. It's not. It's not a horrible thread, and it's a little on the cheaper side of budget, especially for a 10-pack. It's a lot cheaper to buy a 10-pack. But yeah, so far I'm loving it. What?
Where do you buy your machines from?
My machines come from SewingMachinesPlus. Every machine that I've bought, except for my little brother machines, I have bought at SewingMachinesPlus. No, you just need to pull the thing on the outside of it.
I can do that. You keep working.
We're going to put up an auction quilt. You guys know how auctions work. You're going to start the bid off at $5 and then bid until your heart's content. And Scott will show the quilting and stuff while I'm sewing. So this is a Bargello style kind of quilt, wall hanging or tabletop or whatever you want it to be. It looks really cool. Technically, he hung it in the up and down way. I would lay it the other direction.
I can put it sideways.
All right, I'm going to finger press this, take it over to the iron, and then piece together that bottom row. All right, so I'm going to press this real quick. No, it's fine. Oh, I was wondering what that weird sound was. It's the the iron cord running against the cardboard box. It was like squeaking funny. I was like, don't tell me something's broken.
It's a box.
It's just a box. All right, so I'm going to slide this up under here. Put it where it goes. Hopefully it'll stay. Oh, you can deal with that, not me. All right, so now I'm going to sew the last rows sashing between them. Excuse me. I think I just inhaled dust. He's showing you the back, I guess, first.
Sideways. All tags upside down.
That's what the back looks like. It's solid black. But the quilting is a yellow color, yellow wisp to be exact. So it looks different. It makes it look like its own fabric.
I'm gonna bring it up close to
Scott's gonna bring it all up close to show you the quilting and the tag. All right, finger press in. So that's what it looks like. Wow, that's got a lot of threads it's picked up from the design wall. From hanging it up there.
Yes, well.
He's showing you what the front looks like. Like I said, I would use it as a wall hanging or a table topper, and I would hang it sideways.
We didn't put hooks on it because they wanna use
Yeah,
it
it doesn't
as a
it doesn't have hooks or anything on it. So it could be used as a table topper.
Poor clips are falling apart.
Yep, they are. We knew those cheap plastic things weren't going to last forever.
We'll have to get some more.
Why didn't you hang it the other way? Because now you're blocking my field.
Oh, well, you didn't say that. Sorry.
All right, so I'm going to take this row over and press it real quick. Yes, I'm starting to love it with the sashing in between. I think it looks fabulous. It's at 53. All right, so now to hook the rows together. So I'm gonna put this one on this one, that one on that one, and then connect the 4. So I'm gonna do that same exact thing when nesting the seams. I'm not gonna pin or anything because I don't feel that there's a need to. If everything was pieced and it was all the same size and your 1/4-inch seam was the same throughout the whole entire project, then everything should land where it's supposed to. And nest right up. Hold at that first seam, stop, adjust, hold that next seam, find the next one. So all the way to it. Go to the next one. Come on, right there. So I'm going to finger press this, and then I'll press it at the iron. But for now, I kind of want to get it at least settled on the way to the iron. Move that out of the way momentarily. So I'm just pressing it towards the sashing because it's less bulkier that way. All right. Put it back up. That way it stays nicely for a moment. We're going to take these next two. I'm just going to sneak behind it all and grab these right sides together. Put the whole thing on my lap because it's easier that way. Match up my end, match up my first seam, hold it, and then sew. I am also trying to make sure that the seams don't fold up, so I'm holding them down as I go because some of them are pressed a certain way, so I'm trying to make sure that they don't flip because that will create bulk. Where is it at? Oh, it's right there in front of my face. Match up this end. Oop. Don't flip. And finger press towards the sashing again. And I totally cannot mess this up when I go to put these together because that long sashing strip is only on the bottom of this unit. So it can't be messed up. So I could literally just lay it right here because this unit only has the sashing on the bottom, not on the top. So you know which way it goes. Yes, please. It's at 60 going once, 60 going twice, 60 sold to Zorina for 60. All right, don't forget to email me, Zorina, with how you want to pay. Either PayPal, Zelle, or what's the other one? Venmo. All right, so I'm gonna put these two units together, and then we're gonna put some border all the way around it. Oops. Well, I did knock the thread out of the hole again, though, pressing next to it. That's my own personal fault. Not the fault of the thread or the juki. At least I noticed it before sewing this time. All right, so I'm going to straighten that out. Line that up. The teaks don't slide very easily on top of each other, so you have to make sure it's lined up before you start stitching because they don't slide easily. You know, to adjust them. Sometimes I need a hair of an adjustment. Not yet. All right, right there.
Why is there 2 threads coming to the machine?
There's not 2 threads coming to the machine. One goes right here. It's a bobbin thread. One is for the bobbin. One is for the sewing. I just leave it up there. There's no sense in taking it down. There's 2 spool holders for a reason. That way I don't have to unthread the machine to wind a bobbin. All right, I'm going to actually I'm just going to go to the iron and press this back and then put it on the wall and we'll cut out some first border. About right there. Go like that.
What's the throat space on the machine?
The throat space on the Juki I think is 9 inches from the needle to the hearth. I'm pretty sure it's 9 inches, Mr. Scotty. Yep, 9 inches from the needle to the hearth.
You called it.
All right, so here is the top, and we're going to add a border all the way around it, and then we're going to choose some fabric from the other room for a second border to make it even bigger because, you know, I'm all about that bigger quilt kind of thing. All right, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need about 6 strips. I'm gonna make sure one more time. 1. Yep, I need 6. 6 2-inch strips. All righty. Oh, I need to re-straighten that back out. Because it went all wonky on me. And my chair thing is sliding. All right. Come on. Right there. I only had 1 yard to work with, so trying to make it count. So I'm just doing 2 inches. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 1 more for 6. All right. And now I'm going to cut the selvage off of them all at the same exact time. And then we're going to hook them end to end to end. I need to press this one. That fold was literally on that piece right there at the edge. selvages off. I'm going to stack them all right on top of each other. This is so easy to do. Grab that bottom piece, throw it out of the way. Every two from now to the top is going to be right sides together. So just going to take two pieces. They're right sides together already. The next two are going to be right sides together. And the next two, and so on and so forth. And then the top piece will have its own all by itself. That one will just be all by its lonesome, just like the bottom piece. All right. I'm going to snip apart. And now I have one continuously long border piece. So now I'm just going to throw it on the floor next to me, grab the quilt top.
You ever mix cotton?
Now I'm going to just...
What color are you thinking of for the second border?
For the second border, I was thinking of... I don't know yet. I don't ever know until I get in there and look at my batiks. I don't have very many choices. I have a lot of purple, and there's no purple in this, and I'm not going to break into my purple batik stash for a quilt that has brown in it. All right, so I'm just going to sew this on here. I'm not pulling, tugging, or anything. I'm just making sure everything's laying flat. Huh? Yep, sure.
Did you put the hanging on your...
Nope, I did not. Not yet.
Do you want to do red or this other one? They got the hanging things on.
The red one. All right, we're going to throw up another auction while I put these borders on. We're going to start it off at $5. And it's got hanging hooks because it's a wall hanging. All right, so I'm coming towards the end. Once it's fully on the table, I'm just going to fold this onto itself. Make sure it's nice and straight right here at the end. And I'm going to snip it to size. Okay. Just going to go ahead and finger press this back towards the border. And then we're going to go to the opposite side. I'm going to move that out of the way.
What color is your sashing? Is it tan or is it gold?
It's like a light
right?
color, yes. My sashing is like a beige with tanny gold accents in it. All right, so I'm going to go to the opposite side of the quilt now. Flip it all the way over and attach. I like to equally put my seams, so I'm going to go to the opposite side of my border fabric. Again, I just lay it on here. I don't pull or tug. So it's like having a piece exactly to size. Oh, the back is all gray, right? Is it all gray?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's quilted in a wood grain. I thought it was very fitting for the type of quilt that it is.
Did you make the t-shirt that you have on?
I did not make the t-shirt that I have on. I don't have a way to make t-shirts other than sewing the making the clothing part of it.
Well, too got you that
Scott
t-shirt
got
that
me
you
this
have
shirt.
on?
He found it online. I don't know where. And bought it for me as a gift because he knows I like quilting related shirts. Okay, that's side 2 on. All right, so I'm going to finger press this back. And then we're going to do the top and bottom, which it doesn't matter because this thing is an equal square, by the way. It has no top, bottom, left, right once it's, you know, got all the borders on it. Because it's one equal square. All right, so now I'm just going to do this right here. I grab this, put it on here, line it up and sew it on. Again, I'm just laying it on here. I'm not yanking anything, just holding it on, adjusting as I go. All right, I'm going to come to where the whole thing is on the table, fold it on top of itself, and trim it to size. Oops, come on, scissors, get between the fabric. Thank you. Okay, I'm not even going to bother finger pressing that, as I'm just going to come to this other side. And because I'm an equally tight person, I'm going to come to the opposite end of this right here, because I want it to equally match on both sides. I'm so weird like that. But
Not weird.
that's just an OCD thing, I guess. For those that ask about my continuously sewing, I have my hand like this, like a gun, okay? First finger like this, thumb on top so that you can move it. The rest of my fingers, you know, so on top of the middle finger goes the rest of the quilt. And I just use my first finger and my thumb to adjust the fabric as I continuously sew. Again, no pulling or tugging. Oh, well, need, you know, a bobbin to continuously sew.
Do you have videos showing the wood grain quilting?
Yes, I have a video showing wood grain quilting. I probably should do a video on solid fabrics, though, eventually someday on certain quilting things, because it's hard to see on quilts with print.
Is it in your playlist?
It should be in my playlist, but it should say wood grain too. All right, around out right there. Oh man, I only needed 5 strips. Look at that. 6 was too many. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. The rest can go in my strings bin. See? That was, well, that's not fully 1 strip, but you know. All right, so I'm going to press this. And then we're going to go over to the fabric room. No, not this one on a video, no. I haven't done any long arm quilting videos in a long time, unless it's in a video. Oh yeah, it's technically being quilted in the open gate video. Yeah.
She said she watched it.
Yeah.
She said she watched it.
It's not specifically about long arming though. It's just watching me from the side quilt it and a fast speed.
It's an open gate quilt video.
Yep, it's in my most recent open gate quilt video for what's this month? April? It's for April.
April. Open gate quilt video. Came
Yep.
out,
April 3rd or something like
yeah,
that. April
last
5th.
Tuesday or so, or something like that. Came out on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know what day it came out, but
Anyway, we're $50 done. Did you want to call it?
yep. All right. We're at 50 to Dawn going once. 50 to Dawn going twice, and sold to Dawn for $50. Dawn, you probably know how to pay. But if you need a reminder, it's either Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle. Email us the address. Look at that. So beautiful. You're going to love that. That was before my tension went away. Actually, we're going to take this with us over to the room to choose our color. All right, guys, we're going to go on a trip to the fabric room, and we're going to be very careful. Scott has to move the mattress out of the way for us.
Are you taking the camera, or do you want me to take it?
I got it. All right, guys, you remember it was a disaster, literally worse than you saw last time I took you there. Oops. Sound quality issues, guys. Sorry about that. Here we go. Camera's moving. Let's go for a trip.
Little rocket ship?
I'm going for a trip. All right, so he's going to move this out of the way. He has to hold it, and we're going to take our lovely quilt top and throw it on the floor next to us because my darker batiks are down here in this bottom corner for a border. And we need to be able to have 6 strips worth of something. And there goes the mattress.
No, I didn't. I got it. I want the headboard. I got the mattress.
Yeah, you have to stand behind the headboard more because it'll slide.
Apparently, I was trying to get the mattress underneath the lights.
Sorry, guys. This is the guest room and fabric room all at the same time. And you guys could stare at my booty. Ooh, we got this brown. How much is there? How about a blue? What do you guys think? A blue? Like a light blue? Oh, yeah, light blue. How about this right here? You know why? Ugh, hold on. Let's get it out of here. It's got butterflies. You think that'll go with it? Nope, that's not the right color blue. Nope. Nope, it's too dark. Oh, I thought you wanted to see the fabric.
Whether they like your fabric.
I can't
like this
tell
butterfly fabric.
if they like it.
I like this butterfly fabric.
Hold on, let's come out with a darker blue. Here's, this one's not the right blue either. Here's one that has like more of a floral on a darker blue, which matches more of the floral that's in here. So this one's kind of like a feathery leaf thing. We also have, I know I'm going to regret saying this, but like a brown with green.
I think brown would look good on it.
I'm not much of a brown person. What do we have here? We have 1 yard, 10 inches on that. Ooh, that does look good though. I knew this was...
No, it was blue.
Which blue though? The butterfly blue or the darker blue? And then, let's see. We also have a leaf blue. Ooh, this one is almost the same as that blue. Look at that. See that blue and this blue? Wow, that looks really good. So this one is a leaf one. And it matches, look at it, matches this blue too. Look at that. It really matches all these blues. Where's that other blue? See? That stone blue. It matches better than the butterflies. Give me the butterflies. It's batiks stuck to batiks is why. Yeah, that one's a better blue than this one. Look at that. That's almost exactly the same.
They're saying yes, that one.
Yeah, the butterflies is too baby blue. I'll save that for another pretty project. Okay, let's make sure there's enough on here though. 1 yard, that'll do. That'll do, pig, that'll do. All right. We have our chosen one. And now we need to pick up the disaster that fell on the floor, and Scott can put the mattress back against the wall or against everything. I'll hold it up so that you guys can see. And we're going to go back to the other room. I mean, look at that. That's like the same. Perfect. All right, we're going to go for a trip now. Camera is moving, but it's moving with fabric in front of it, so it won't make you that dizzy. Okay. Come back up. Here we go. That's perfect. Like, I couldn't have done any better than what was already in the thing. All right. We're going to do this because we're at the last step. Usually I don't like to go past 2 hours. We literally have 10 minutes to get this last border on here. So if I needed 6 strips last time and I had this much left over, I definitely have plenty of room to do a 5-inch border. So we're going to do 5-inch strips off of here. Rotary cutter. And this will be a nice size layout. Turn that around. We're going to cut 6 5-inch strips. 1, 2, 3. I hate when that happens. It adjusts itself on the line. 4, 5, and 1 more. 6. All right.
What do you use to wrap your fabric?
I use comic book card or magazine board. These ones are magazine boards. The smaller ones are comic cards, comic book cards. I really don't like the small ones. I like the bigger ones, but I have both and I use both. But I prefer to buy the magazine boards, which just means it's magazine size. All right, I'm going to do that same thing as last time. I'm going to stack all of them up. I'm going to cut all the selvages off, and then I'm going to sew them straight seamed like I always do. That's the fold. That's that. There. I'm literally just going to cut them all at the same exact time. There, and 1 more. That's a lot of layers. That's 12 layers. Can my rotary cutter do it? I'm pretty sure it can. It might take a little bit of a heat. Oh, there we go. 12 layers. I'll cut it once. All right. Bottom piece out of the way. Each individual piece will be right sides together from here on forward, except for that top piece. Just going to sew these through, and then we're going to get them attached. Next two. Next two. Next two.
Why don't you do diagonal?
I don't do diagonal seams, and here is why. I long arm quilt all of my own quilts. Everything is done by me. And I also long arm for others. I don't have a problem with my quilts ever being wonky, funky, sideways, bendy, whatever. I can say this. I do have clients, and this is nothing. My clients know this. I've told them we have verbal communication. I give them tips, tricks, and strategies to help them along the way. My clients, some of them do diagonal seams on that's a bias seam, so it stretches on their borders. Those final borders have to be worked into place on my long arm because they just stretch more than regular. They could have cut it to the exact size, but it's still going to stretch. And that stretch causes me to have waves and bumps, and I have to physically put creases into their quilts. So, and they know this, and some of them have switched to my way and have not had a problem since. So, I mean, I don't have quilt police banging down my door telling me I should or shouldn't do something this way. And so far, I've never had a problem. And this is how I've always done it. Because I never learned to do the diagonal way, in all honesty, until I watched quilting videos on YouTube. All right, here we go. Let's get this on here. And we will have a finished quilt. Top, quilt top. Quilt top only. With my tension being all wonky on my long arm, I kind of can't, go quilt it right now because it'll probably frustrate me and I'll want to throw my machine while on camera. Yep, but I've always done the straight seam and I've never had a problem. I only have problems with the diagonals, and it's only the ones that people send in if it's not done correctly. And not to say that there is a correct or not correct way to do it, honestly, I don't know. Because I don't do that. But I do long arm quilt them for people. But any bias on the edge of something is going to stretch. And when it's pulled purposely stretched on a long arm frame, it definitely is going to stretch. Do I know what?
You know what you're going to use for binding? The one that you that brown that you showed would feel good for binding.
Yeah, I could probably use that brown for binding. All right, one side. Let's get this other side on. I'm going to switch this whole entire strip to the opposite end of it because, again, that whole equal thing. It's so weird. I know. Okay, let's make sure it's right sides before we sew it, though. I've done that before because batiks, there's no real way to tell, and on solids. And I've gone to put it on and I get down to the seam and oh. But instead of unstitching it or picking it out, I just pick out the seam and flop it the opposite way, which works. I already like this quilt a lot because it has the sashing instead. Definitely a better choice to go with sashing. Scott's showing you the pattern. I did not follow the pattern, as you can tell now. So, but it gave me the general idea of things for the block itself. I'm not going to press the whole entire thing. I'm just going to press about 5 inches worth of room right here. I'm just pressing it outward towards the border. Let me go ahead and grab this end. Take a sip before I keep going. Quick, come on, stop flipping and turning on me. It's not playing nice. All right, so I'm just going to finger press real quick, 5 inches or so worth right here. Lay this on here. Sew till it's on my table. Flop it on top of itself. Line everything up before I cut. I definitely don't like to have a crooked cut here at the end. All right, we're going to flip this whole piece around. For some reason, it doesn't look long enough, but we're going to hope that it is. And that 6 pieces was enough. But you never know. I still have more fabric. I can cut a 7th if I need to. All right. I'm going to press about, with my finger, about 5 inches, just so that it stays flat. Okay, making sure that it is right sides the other, not wrong. Oh yeah, it was plenty. Look at that, with a little extra to go. Right on. This is the no math method, by the way. It's called go by what you know. Yeah. All right. 6 strips was perfect. Look at that. All right, I'm going to press it, and then we're going to put it up on the wall. And then you'll see how big it actually came out. Wow, it's a lot bigger than I thought. It's about 64 inches wide. Somewhere in that range, which is 64 inches tall, too, because it's a square quilt. That's a lot bigger than the picture on the pattern, putting it together their way. I think it was only like a 40 by 48 or something. I don't remember what it was on its own. It was squared that way too, obviously. All right, one side pressed. For side number 2. Holding you guys in suspense. Ooh, this looks so good. I'm pleased with my choice and your guys' choice. I like the leaf print. Smart move on all of our end.
They want to know if you'll help them organize their room for sewing.
You know, I have thought about that. It wouldn't be very cost effective for me and Scott to buy a, say, like fifth wheel and a truck and pull it and start traveling state to state. I would have to charge a very wholesome fee to go from state to state to long arm quilt and to organize fabric rooms or quilt rooms, period. It would have to be a very large fee, and it wouldn't be worth it with the way gas prices are always being so high in the last couple years. It would cost us an arm and a leg just to get around, and YouTube does not pay enough for that. If I was a bazillionaire, I probably would, though. And I'd give you one free long arm quilting while I'm there, you know. But I'm not a bazillionaire, so I can't do it. But I would be very generous about it if I was. All right, here we go. Let's see this final quilt. Put it as high as I can reach it. It may look crooked, but that's only because I can only reach so high. There we go. I guess that's an equal height. I smooth it out. Look at this batting is plenty enough for it too. I'm so glad that I chose to make it bigger. Okay, it shouldn't fall. And that shouldn't get shoved out of the way. So it was supposed to be 48 inches square, and it is now, oh, it's gonna fall. 60. I know, but I didn't want to. I'm going to make a line right there. 65 inches. It is now 65 inches square. Woohoo! Look at that. I love that it's sashed and cornerstones, and I love that border. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad my choice. I do have, oh, look, I can't hang anything straight. Look at that, it's all crooked. Yes, I have videos on my storage and organization, but not since I've gotten 2 rooms to organize like this. Look at that. I like it so much. Even though it's hung on the wall crooked. Look at that border, looks so good with it. It matched up perfectly, guys. So it's a 65-inch square quilt now. I'm so glad I chose to go with sashing and cornerstones. There's only one problem with this quilt, and that is I probably won't get to quilting it for another 2 or 3 years. Because that closet is overflowing. Plus I have another project I'm working on and another yeah. So it'll be a while before it's quilted, but I think it's great. I should have paid attention to where this fabric landed, but that's okay. It's like a bunch of them right there, and a bunch of them right there, and just randomly right there. But that's okay. I didn't pay attention to that. I totally thought about it, and then I still think it looks great. that last final border. These two fabrics look like they were like meant to be together. The leaf in this sashing, or like a feathery leaf, is the same kind of feathery leaf right here.
How would you quilt it?
Something like this, because it's really, really busy, I would probably quilt it with a flower or just a meander or loop-de-loops, because it is really a busy quilt still. Even though they're sashing, breaking it up, it's still a lot of color, and you'll lose the quilting in a quilt with this much color. So I would probably quilt it with a light blue thread or a cream thread and do either a meander or a flower or even a leaf. You know what? A leaf would look really good on this, like an all over leafy print. I mean, stitch out. I don't know why I call it a stitch out. I'm the one that stitches it.
Yeah.
A computer is a stitch out. I am the computer on my own. So, all right, guys. Well, we gone over our normal time, but it did get complete. So that means next Sunday I have to do something new. I should have drawn this out a little bit longer, huh? Me and my new projects constantly. I mean, you know, maybe I'll follow another pattern next week. That way I could.
Where can they find this pattern?
Again, this was a Timeless Treasure Tonga Treats package.
Yeah, but we don't know.
And the pattern is called Darling Donuts. And I Google searched it. I did not find it. I did not find it come up under Timeless Treasures in their search bar or nothing. So this is just, I've only found it on Etsy. And that was because they had the layer cake of it. And there was only like 2 available or something like that. So it's probably gone by now. But it's not something that you can find online. It was really easy though. Literally half square triangles, 4 of them, and then 2 patch with strips. So these are 2.5-inch strips put together. You know, you get your equal number, which is the same as your number for your half square triangles, which is 4.5. I mean, super easy to get a 12.5-inch block and then a solid in the middle. And then they're just alternated. So the darker one faces in on one side, but the lighter one faces in on the other. So it's just like flip-flopped. Don't ask me why it's called Darling Donuts, because it does not look like a donut to me at all. But yeah, it's just a 4.5 in the center, 2.5s together to equal a 4.5, and then 4.5-inch half square triangles. That's all it is. Then 12.5-inch sashing by 2-inch, 2-inch cornerstones, 2-inch border all the way around the first border, and then the second border is a 5-inch border. So it's really, really simple. This is probably super beginner friendly. If you're not used to half square triangles, again, you can just, you know, piece like I go to last week's video and see. I just chain pieced a lot of them, and it's so easy to do. Shouldn't be scared of it. So, all right, friends. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I have a movie date to finish with my husband. So we started a movie and we just didn't finish it yet because, well, live stream. So now it's time to finish. All right, guys, any final questions before I get out of here?
I don't see any.
Scotty doesn't see any, so I'm going to get going. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Don't forget, Thursday, 7 a.m., I'll be on for Breakfast at Tiffany's. We're going to continue on whatever that is that I'm working on. Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over on So Becca's channel. I will be there with Ian and Becca. And then Sunday, before my live stream over on Ian's channel at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be over on his channel. We're doing the Continuum Quilt, and then obviously next Sunday. And I don't know what happens during the week. So see you guys. Bye.